this is the t-shirt, the Retro Pack 1 t-shirt template tutorial. I'm just going to do one of them because they're all real similar as far as how they work. So once you can do one, you're going to be able to do the other. If you have questions with some of the others, please hit me up. But these are extremely simple to use. Then watch till the end and I'll show you how to do the DTG prep, because you will want to do that before sending this off to print, or it will look like garbage on a t-shirt. You do not want to send just straight out of Photoshop like this to have printed on a shirt. It's not going to look good. And then I'll show you who I use for printing. Again, you guys can use whoever you want. You can do the DTG prep however you want, but I'll show you how I do it. Anyway, so let's get started. So first off, we're going to change just the t-shirt color. That's this last layer. I mostly do white or black. You can do whatever color you want. It might be harder to do the prep on with some of the other colors unless you know the exact shirt color. But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, so that's why I just play with white or black. For now, let's just keep it on black. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, select my move tool. I have auto select turned on. I'm just going to click my subjects here. So let me pull in these shots, a couple shots I was going to use. And I'm just going to do this fairly quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for a tutorial. I'm not sending this to the client or having it printed or anything, unless she sees this and wants it. Alright, there's one. Let me grab in another. Again, I don't have to be perfect, so let's just grab this one. Why not? And one more. This is just kind of that retro 90s look where they like to just duplicate the subject over and over. You can get obnoxious with it if you want. And you can do all kind of different sizes like I am here. I'm going to put her there, and then I'm going to actually move her over a little. Why not? Alright, again, I'm just going to leave it that as is. If I was doing this for a client, obviously I'd be a little more picky with it, but it is what it is. Alright, I'm going to close the subject folder. I want to come up here. We're going to start working on the text now. I want to grab my text tool. I'm just going to click in this first name text, Command or Control A, select all. I'm going to type her name, and same thing with the last name. Oops. Alright, Command or Control T on that last name. I'm going to hold Shift and then drag these sides out. You may not have to, depending on how your settings are set up. You might can just start dragging them however you want, but it might change the proportion of the entire thing, even up and down. So I just kind of want to stretch the sides out here. If you want to change that arc, just select that text again, and up here I have my text warp tool. I'm just going to click that, and I'm going to change this arch bend just slightly. Nice. Now I want to get my move tool, and I'm just going to hold the arrow key, and I'm just going to move that last name up just a little bit. Nice. Now I'm going to grab my text tool again. I'm going to come down here on the bottom, do the same thing. And I want to change the sport to soccer. Let's go back to this Knights text. Command or Control T. I'm just going to stretch it out a little. Just going to kind of move it till I see that blue line there. That means it's kind of locked to the center. And that's it. Alright, now let's change some color. on this. This is the easy part. Right here on the top, I'm just going to select last name, double click the layer. I'll move that over so I can see what I'm doing. First things first, I'm going to grab this second stroke, and then I'm going to click that color. I'm just going to grab some blue out of her jersey. Nice. All right, now I'm going to click the gradient overlay. I'm going to start with this middle one. I'm just going to do this kind of neutral blue here. And then I'm going to go with a darker one. I want to get a blue that's in the shadow. So as you can see, we're starting to get our gradient. And then right here, I'm going to click the lighter color, and I want to click some of the blue that's in a highlight. I'd like for it to be a little lighter, so I'm going to click the swatch here, and I'm just going to move that up like that. And that's it. I'm going to copy this layer style, so I'm going to go down here, right click it, do copy layer style. I'm going to click on the team name. I'm going to right click on the layer over here again, and now I'm going to paste that layer style. Then it just copied everything down, but I am going to turn off that second stroke. And guys, that's really it for this one. The other ones, I'm telling you, are just as easy. I feel like this is probably the hardest one to do, other than the t-shirt 4. It just has some starbursts you got to move around. Actually, you know what? I am going to show you that one real quick. Let's open that. I'm not going to do any changes to it. I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to walk you through the layers. So, oh, and one more thing. Let's go back to this one. I added this at the last minute. If you want to do like this vintage vibe on it, you can turn this vintage overlay on. It's pretty cool. Doesn't look that great on the faces, and we'll fix that in a minute. If you want to change the intensity of it, it's just this crackle. I just would grab this here. Sorry, let me back up. I would open that up and double click on this layer, or sorry, levels layer, and I would just move this middle slider around. See how it just kind of makes it lighter or heavier. Let's go a little lighter on it. Nice. And then on the vintage crackle, click the mask and grab a brush. Here, let me grab just a soft white brush here. I'm going to bring my flow down to about 20%. I'm just going to kind of make, oh, sorry, X. I'm going to make sure I'm on black. Make sure you have a black color checked, and make sure you're still on the actual mask. Then you can just brush that off her face a little. I wouldn't take it completely off, or then it'll just look weird if it's too clean, but you can kind of clean it up where you want it. Just take a little off. Maybe just some random other spots, like maybe the legs, any skin. But anyway, that's the vintage layers. I have this on all of them. And it, you know, if that's your thing. Just a cool little effect. Anyway, let's go back to shirt 4 real quick. I'm going to show you just some things on here. Mostly with this Knights text. Everything else is going to work the same. Very simple. But with this Knights text, let's click it. You're going to see these starbursts, just little glows in here. So you open those up, and these are the small ones. You can see I just put a few right in here. And then, sorry, and that's one as well. And then, which one is this? This is just a big kind of glow. You see it going into the black a little too. That'll look cool with the DTG prep. You can turn that one on or off. Sorry, I had it wrong. The layer 2 is the big one. Alright, I want to turn these off for now just so you can see. Because this is where it gets a little tricky. So if you want to move this whole text up or down, watch. I'm going to grab it and just start. Hold on. Sorry, let me grab my move tool again. And I'm going to click this team folder. And then team name here. Alright, now I'm Commander T. If you move it around, you'll see that that gradient kind of is staying there. Well, to give that a really cool chrome vibe, I did my chrome layers like this: the gradient color, chrome waves, and horizon. So if you want to move this horizon line up or down, double click this gradient here. Actually grab the gradient tool that's over here, and then make sure you're on that layer, and then you'll see it here. So you can kind of move this up and down. Same thing with this middle slider, you kind of move that up or down. But if you're typing in line with where it's already at, you should be good. These waves, as you can see, it just kind of distorts it just slightly, this horizon line. And then obviously these are your colors right here. So we're going to double click gradient colors, and then you can go in here. I would just follow kind of this sequence, like a light, I'd keep it white, and then like a neutral color, darker shadowy color, maybe keep this black, and then a lighter color, and then, or a white and then a lighter color. Just kind of keep that sequence, and it should look good. Just play around with it. But anyway, this is probably the hardest kind of thing to do in all four of these, is just this text here. Alright, let's go back to this guy. I'm going to show you how I do my DTG prep. So what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and export this as is. Export as. Let's go to my desktop. I'm going to export it here. Now let's open it on its own document. Alright. Now, for my DTG prep, there's tons of stuff on YouTube where you can do it manually if you want. And it works really well. I just ended up getting the Lightning plugins DT Prep plugin. It automatically knows, you know, the size. I'm not going to give you a tutorial on how this works. They have their own. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like once it's prepped. Alright, so it did its thing. You can't really tell too much until you zoom in and you see all these halftone dots. That is what's going to make it look good on a shirt. So she's got black hair, so I was hoping I'd get a little bit of color separation there, and I am. Yep, and I get it right here on the edge. So that's good enough for me. They will walk you through the tutorial on how to move these sliders if you want to make adjustments. But basically, just any sharp edges, or I'm probably not saying that right, but gradients like this right here. Here, look at the gradient. Those will not print good on a t-shirt unless it's kind of half-toned like this. So that'll make it print a lot better, and it'll look good without getting that kind of powdery white look that starts to leak out behind the colors. If you've done photos on a t-shirt, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it looks like garbage. Anyway, this is pretty much the mask it's putting on it, and this is what will be printed to the shirt, is this right here. It's pulling out all the black. Whoops, sorry. And that's why you want to, I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, that's why you want to do the prep, is so you want to get rid of any colors that are already on the shirt. You don't want to print black on black. That will not look good. And again, the gradients and stuff like that. So let's just say apply. Now I'm going to export this, save as PNG. And I'm not gonna change names or anything yet. Alright, and this is how I print. Give me a second here. I'm going to open up the web. I use Printful. Let's create a new product. This, I believe you can create just a free account here. They're making money off of, they get a cut of anything you sell, so that's how they make their money. And you can integrate it into your website. Let's just grab this, like one of these. Again, we're not going to spend too much time. I'm going to say, give me a black shirt. We'll do all these sizes, whatever. DTG printing. Upload or drop your design here. This is how easy this is. I want to say upload. All right, so it was this one. Give that a minute to upload. All right. Now just click apply, so it just puts it on the shirt for you. Then you can go in here, you can make it bigger, smaller, just keep it within this rectangle. I probably should have cropped it before I exported it, but that's okay. But yeah, that's it. So let's save to templates. That's going to save it here. And then basically I will say add to my store. Again, this is just specific to my setup. You can change colors if you want, but if you're doing all this, it's probably already set up for a specific t-shirt color. I'm going to keep it on black. You can pick what sizes you want, all that stuff. So proceed to mock-ups. This is just how Printful works. Your t-shirt company might do something different. I think Signs 365, you can just print it directly to a iron-on transfer. If that's what you want to sell, you can do that. All right, so what's cool with Printful is they will give you all these different mock-ups. We're just going to do the front. We'll do PNG. You can do it on different style mock-ups or shirts, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep it there. Continue. You can put in your descriptions and titles if you want. Alright, I'm not going to spend too much time doing this either. And then for me it says, what page do you want to put it on? I'm not going to put it on my templates page. I have a hidden page just for my customers called Custom Tees. I'm going to say continue. You can set the prices for all your shirts. I'm just going to say 30. Just, all right. That's it. And then I will say submit to store. It's really that easy. Then watch when I come over here. I already have two here. It might take it a minute to upload, but it's going to keep hitting refresh, and there it is. And now I can send this link to my customer, and they can just buy it right there, and you don't have to touch anything else. It gets drop shipped right to their house. That's really it. So if y'all have any more questions for anything, please, please, please let me know. I think this is a massive, massive upsell, especially if you can sell it. If you're in a town like I'm at, it's, monkey see, monkey do. You do one or two of these, maybe even for free for a customer. As you see here, they cost you $9 if you were to do one. You can do a sample order through Printful, I think once a month, where you can get up to, I think, 3 of their items at cost. I would honestly just print 2 or 3 of them, give it to some parents, let them wear it. As soon as other people see it, maybe you can even print on the back, so you could put your branding on the back if you wanted. Once some people start seeing these, you will start getting calls. That's how it worked for me. This wasn't even my idea. I had a parent contact me wanting to do some t-shirts, and I did, and then she wore it, and then that same day I got like 4 phone calls wanting more, and then it just kind of grew and grew and grew from there. So anyway, yeah, that's it. If you have any other questions about anything, please, please, please feel free to give me a call, text, email, whatever, and we'll get you squared away. All right, thanks, guys.